going on, everybody? Welcome back. Another YouTube video. I am Luke, Bond's Apartment. Thank you guys for watching. This is going to be a review slash story of how I got my new 1968 Omega Seamaster Automatic. Let's check it out. Little sneak peek here of the whole collection. Slide this out of the way. Like I said, 1968 Omega Speedmaster Automatic, vintage. There she is. Nice and clean, right? So yeah, I got pretty lucky finding this one. Found this one on Chrono24. Very clean, as I said. Kind of surprising, the price on it, but I'm not going to complain. Maybe they did it wrong. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful piece, and there's a little bit of a story behind it. So, at Lorenzo's wedding, my partner in crime, my paisan, at the end of, God, I don't even remember now, month or I don't know, a few weeks ago, end of May. No, right now is the end of May. End of April. Sorry, guy. End of April, we went out to Vegas. We were there with Mr. David Zaritsky, Kyle Barbeau, Rainer, and of course, Lorenzo. So a lot of watch guys there. And Rainer happened to be wearing a vintage watch. And of course, Lorenzo was wearing his vintage. But I got to talking to Rainer, and I kind of picked his brain on it and realized that buying a vintage watch isn't that difficult if you know what you're looking for. You know, so if you know what you want, if you know what to avoid, it's really not that tough of a task. So not too long after, a few weeks later, I found this one, sent it over to Lorenzo and Rainer, got the approval, and went for it. The caveat to this, when it showed up, aside from it being incredibly clean, is it didn't have a strap with it, which is fine, because some collectors like to have the original strap on theirs. I don't really care too much. I mean, I have this Gruen here, which has an original strap on it, and not only is it, I mean, the Gruen's a 33 or a 32, this is a 35, this new Omega, but the strap's super thin, which of course makes sense because, you know, the lug to lug is very small, but it's just like kind of, I don't know if chintzy is the right word, but I had every intention on buying a Hirsch or an Omega strap for this watch anyways, so I went ahead and did that. Didn't really matter that the original strap didn't come with it, but some collectors don't like that. I think that also helped the price a lot. But this is a Hirsch strap, 18 millimeter, the watch 35 millimeter. The one thing that it came with was one slight issue, and that the lug holes, which I'll put pictures up so you can see a clearer picture, had former spring bar like tips. So the very tip of this spring bar here and here were lodged into the lug holes. And you can tell because I think this watch normally comes with a stainless steel band, this classic watch in particular, and it looked as if that might have broke off or they couldn't find a way to get it off, so they kind of forcefully removed the old strap, and that caused a bit of a problem for when I finally got my hands on it, as you can see in these pictures. So asked Rainer what to do, asked Lorenzo what to do. He had never seen it. That was starting to scare me. When those two guys don't know what to do, it's pretty scary. So I showed it to Kyle, I showed it to David. David kind of had a similar idea to me with kind of drilling it out, but of course I wasn't going to do it myself. So I brought it to a local jeweler. They've got a few locations, I think 3. So they have watchmakers, 1 or 2 watchmakers at each location. So when I brought it in there, they told me it would take a couple days for them to get to it and take a look at it, which was fine. So they did that, called me back, and she was like, yeah, they've also never seen this. So she was like, you know, we have really good watchmakers. They'll put their heads together and figure out what to do. But in the meantime, you know, worst case scenario, we'll send it to Omega. So after a couple days, they called me, said it was all taken care of, charged me $75. And the way that they actually fixed it, like Mr. David Zaritsky said, is they took a micro drill bit and they didn't actually drill through. So as you can see in the picture there, it's basically almost as if that gold piece is now a part of the watch. So essentially you can just drill through it. They didn't do that. They took an even smaller drill bit and drilled, and then what that ended up doing was loosening the two pieces of metal in there, and they basically just tapped it on the cloth or on the table there, and those two old pieces of metal fell out and it was back to normal. So the big thing with that was they were afraid that they would damage the lug hole or expand the lug hole, and neither of those things happened, which was very, very lucky, and I'm very thankful for it, because that, you know, like I said, could have been fixed, could have sent it to Omega for a new case, but that's very expensive. Not to mention, I'm like a kid on Christmas. I wanted this thing ASAP, so I wasn't really looking to wait weeks and weeks to get this back on my wrist. Very happy to have this in the collection. I got very lucky finding this. I think the reason it was so well priced was the previous owner may have thought, and it's, you know, it's like a watch shop on Chrono 24. I think they've got a bunch of different watches on there. But I think the previous owner probably tried to get it out, may have done further damage to it. Luckily, I have some good jewelers near me that were able to fix it. Hopefully it continues to keep great time, but I think eventually I will send it out to Omega. None of the loom is working, which is one thing that I do need to get fixed. So I'll look into that eventually, but for now, it's pretty perfect. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it as always. Be sure to like and subscribe, and then try to find me on Instagram, Bond's Apartment. Give me a follow on there as well. I will see you guys next week. Take care.